Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's another episode of the Ranting Redhead. I am your host, Aiden. Today, I would like to start my topic by telling you a little story. So, I'm at work yesterday, and one of my coworkers, I just randomly walked into a conversation, and she was saying that, yeah, I gotta buy a dress for so and so. And I'm like, what do you gotta buy a dress for? It's like, oh, I'm the maid of honor at a wedding. I said, oh, congratulations. But she was stressing, and I was like, I don't want to spend that much money on a dress for something I'm only gonna wear a few hours. And I'm like, well, okay, why not just wear something that you already have in your closet? Are you telling me you have no dresses in your closet? She goes, no, I have plenty, but there's a dress code, so I gotta get something that fits their parameters. And I'm like, well, then why aren't they paying for it? If they're so strict about it, why not they pay for it? She's like, oh, and then she started laughing, and I'm like, she thought I was joking. I'm like, no, I'm being for real here, because it's bullshit. Weddings are bullshit, and I'm gonna tell you why. Just for this one reason. Okay. Either way, she's in a losing position now and there's nothing she could have done to prevent it because, if somebody goes up to her and say, hey, will you be the maid of honor at my wedding? If you say no, you're like, you seem like a jerk. And he's like, I guess they're too good for our wedding. And then people talk about you behind your back. Or what happens is you agree to do it, and then you stress about how much money you have to spend on a dress or a tuxedo to be the best man or maid of honor, whatever. And you're only going to wear this for a few hours, then you're going to put it in your closet, forget about it, and years down the road, you're going to be like, yeah, I can just get rid of that suit and give it to my cousin who needs it for their wedding. I don't know. Is that what happens for weddings? I don't know. I don't go to any of them. But seriously, why is it that she had to pay to fit their dress code? If you're so strict about it, then you should be paying for it. And you can't be like, well, weddings are expensive enough as it is. Then don't get married if you're going to bitch about the price. You don't have to get married. That's not an obligation in life. Guess what? You can remain boyfriend and girlfriend for the rest of existence, and you'll still love each other just as much. And guess what? It'll be even better because you'll still have a little more money in your pocket than after a wedding. I mean, what's the point in making such a big deal about a wedding? It's like, oh, we gotta have this and that. We gotta invite Frankie and Deb. Who's Frankie and Deb? Remember the people that we met at that one thing? Yeah, well, I talked to them a little bit, and they'd love to come to the wedding. People that invite people that aren't close to you is bullshit. Just invite. You get four people. You each get four people. Choose them wisely, okay? That should be the stipulation of a wedding for me. For me, at least. But that's the thing that I really hate. It's not just with weddings, but when people always have to complain about something when they don't have to do it. It's like, I have to go, like I said, I have to get married now, and this is going to cost me so much money. Well, you know what? Wait to get married until you have a little more money. It's not a rush, believe me. Nobody's eager to go to your wedding, I guarantee it. Or it's like when somebody wants to get a new car, but their car works just fine. I'm like, well, why not just wait a little and save up your money? Well, I don't really like my car. Well, what's wrong with it? Oh, nothing. I just don't like it. I've had it for so long. Does it get you where you need to go? Well, yeah. Quit your bitching! And a lot of people, their response to this is like, well, you only live once. Well, okay, but you're going to live broke, but with one nice object in your garage. If you have a garage, or it's like, hey, I have one nice object sitting in the street that hopefully doesn't get broken into or stolen. But yeah, going back to this marriage thing, if somebody like really makes a big deal out of a wedding and they want you to come, then they should be paying for everything. And not just for, the wedding cake and the band and all that blah blah blah. But they should pay for your gas money. If they're making such a big deal out of your wedding, because believe me, the whole time anyone at a wedding, no matter how much, okay, if you are the bride or groom, no matter how much you're loving the moment, most of the people sitting there are probably like, how much longer do I have to be here? That's all they're thinking. They don't care about your wedding. Because honestly, there's better things for that person to do that day. I guarantee it. It's like, hey, you know what? I'd rather watch a movie than go to a wedding. Because you know what? It's shorter, and I guarantee you, I'm gonna get more entertainment out of it. And who knows? I might learn something. The best that I can do at a wedding is maybe pick up a bridesmaid. That's the best I can do, and that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I'm bored and I'm complaining about the shitty food because they really chose to skimp out on that. Whereas, oh, but they could get the most beautiful reception except for the food. The one thing that draws people to a wedding is like, hey, if it's close enough, then we might get a free meal out of it. And that's the other thing. Okay, who the frig wants to set up a wedding? Okay, like I live in the upstate New York area. If let's say my sister was getting married, but she's like, I want to get married in California. Go fuck yourself. I'm not at best in a car. I'm not traveling outside of an hour to go to anyone's wedding. I'm serious. Unless they pay for everything of mine. They have to pay for my airline ticket. Not one way. I want a round trip. They got to pay for my rent-a-car and my hotel. And maybe food. I mean, I'll be a little nice, but they got to pay for all those three things. And if so, if I can get the time off work, then okay, I'll go. But otherwise, I have no problem missing it. Honestly, like I don't care about these major events. But yeah, anybody who plans their wedding like so far outside is just asking for someone to get pissed off. Because now you're putting them at a real disadvantage. Like, well, now I can't just take one day off work. I got to take multiple days. We got to travel for this. Why the frig do you need to travel? It's so stupid. Sorry, I think I just hit the mic there. And that's the other thing. Just it's a little off topic, but I'm staying on the conversation of weddings. Why is it people now, and probably not now, this has always happened, but why is it people feel the need to get married at such a young age? Live your life a little. I don't care if you're with the same person, but once you're married, you just feel that obligation that, you're just done. That or you get divorced in the first few years, and yeah, it's going to really suck because then you're like all that money down the drain. Meanwhile, I'm laughing hysterically. If I ever have to go to somebody's wedding and it within the first few years called off that I can remember, I'm talking about me. I'm talking like right now. If you invite me to your wedding and I go and within the next year you get a divorce, I will be laughing hysterically. Oh, that will really just make me feel good because I'm like, haha, weddings are bullshit and you're going to learn the hard way. Unlike me, who is much smarter. I am so much smarter than you if you get married. And look, if you get married and you have a great time and it lasts your whole life, congratulations. I don't wish any misfortune on people, but you're still young. If you get married at a very young age, you're still young, and you know what? Your brain's still developing. I think until the age of 25, I think. So you know what? Your needs are constantly changing. You're developing as a person. So why be tied down to someone? I don't know. Like I said, have a girlfriend if you want, or a boyfriend if that's the way you swing. But you don't have to get married. You just don't. I mean, how about this? How expensive is it for you if you have to get married and then have to get divorced? Gee, yes, and I'm going to take your advice. No, you've failed too many times. Work your way back and we'll talk. I am such a terrible person and I love every second of it. I don't know. I'm just so glad that I just know I'm never getting married. I will never get married. I never felt the need for it. I've felt this way even for many years. Ever since I watched the show Married with Children as a young boy. No, I'm kidding, but I don't feel the need to get married. It just feels like a social obligation. And, with the world we live in, it almost feels like a social obligation to get a divorce now, but that's beside the point. But yeah, I never plan to get married. I'm too quote unquote immature. And I'm okay with that. I mean, to me, asking a girl the big question is not, will you marry me? Asking a girl right now, the big question is, hey, what do you like better? Hot Shots or Hot Shots Part 2? That to me that's the most important question that I ask a girl, is which one is better? There is a correct answer. The first one. Yeah, honestly, if you have never seen Hot Shots, and Hot Shots Part 2 is really good, but it's the first one. Oh my god, if you have not seen it, I think as of right now, I think it's streaming free on YouTube. If you have not seen Hot Shots, please do yourself a favor. It is so funny. It has the greatest comedic performance in the history of comedy. Lloyd Bridges as Admiral Benson. Just for him, you should watch the movie. One of the best lines, one of the best lines ever in that. Uh, he, he addresses all the men and he's like, what did he say? He goes, "Now I look at all you fine young men out there and I think to myself, what I wouldn't give to be 20 years younger. And a woman. Now I've personally flown over 194 missions. I was shot down every one. Come to think of it, I've never landed a plane in my life." It's so good if you have not seen it. I don't know if it's top 10 comedies of all time, but just for him, it's so good. Oh my, I can't recommend that movie enough. Watch if you're ever feeling the need to get married, watch Hot Shots and you'll feel a little bit better. I mean, I don't know what decision you'll make, but you'll feel a little bit better than, having to be with your wife. Hot Shots will bring you joy. Marriage will not. And that's the point. And you know what? Hot Shots is free on YouTube. Marriages are not free. I'm looking this up right now. How much is the average marriage? Hold on one second. How much is the average marriage? How much is the average wedding? Yeah, $28,000. Are you put that money towards a house? Like seriously, are you kidding? $28,000. Oh my god. I didn't even know that. You're lucky if I pay $1,000. Are you kidding me? Honestly, like if you really love someone, take a vacation to Vegas. Just get it done and over with there. I don't care. You don't need to invite so many people. $28,000. Holy crap. Oh my god. You know what? If you get married, I'm sorry and you spent that much money. Oh my god. What were you thinking? How drunk were you when you made this decision? How drunk were you at the wedding? But yeah, you can't bitch about your financial situation if you get married. You just sent yourself back 28 grand. Oh my god. I didn't know it was that much. Get a car. That will bring you much more joy. Oh my god. My car brings me more joy than any woman ever could. I mean, it's not a great car, but you know what? It takes me to the movie theaters and I like the movies far more. Oh my god, 28 grand. I can't get over that. If you've gotten married, please tell me how much you've spent on your wedding. I won't tell anybody, but 28 grand. Holy crap. Yeah, put that money in the bank instead and just save it, or like I said, put a down payment on a house. Do something. Jesus Christ, on a wedding? Holy crap. And that's the other thing. I want to kind of wrap this all up in a fine little bow by going back to what I was talking about earlier about my coworker buying that dress. There shouldn't be a dress code for anybody because you know what? That person is not going to be remembered at a wedding. The maid of honor, the bridesmaids, the best man, they're not going to be remembered. It's going to be about, Jim and Sally's wedding. That's all it's going to be. That's what they're going to think. Like, okay, if I go to a wedding for Jim and Sally, okay? And let's say, I don't know, Steven is the best man. Do you think, or Betty is one of the bridesmaids? Do you think, unless Betty is very hot and the bride and groom, every other chick in there is fucking ugly? If Betty is really hot, yes, she will be the one thing I remember. But for most people, you remember the bride and groom. You don't give a shit about anybody else. So there shouldn't be a dress code because it's not important. Okay. See, I'm trying to make everyone's life a little bit easier. It's a thankless role. And with that, I'm going to conclude the episode. Thank you all so much for listening. And I'll see you guys next time.